You've done everything right. You worked the overtime shifts, the double weekends, the side hustles. You skipped vacations. You ate ramen for dinner while your savings account crawled upward, dollar by painful dollar. You saved the down payment, $20,000, $30,000, more than your parents ever needed. You played by the rules. But when you finally stepped into the housing market, the door didn't just close. It was slammed in your face. Across the globe, from the sprawling suburbs of Atlanta to the sun-baked streets of Phoenix, a ghost is haunting the American dream. You are no longer competing with other families. You aren't bidding against a young couple clutching pre-approval letters and nursery plans. You are being outbid by an entity that has no face, needs no mortgage, and never sleeps. An entity that buys homes in cash, thousands at a time, within 48 hours of them hitting the market. All cash offers, no inspections, no contingencies, just raw algorithmic capital moving at machine speed. This isn't just inflation. It isn't just supply and demand. This isn't some invisible hand of the free market correcting itself. This is a coordinated, structural liquidation of the middle class. Behind the curtain stands a financial titan managing $10 trillion, more wealth than the entire GDP of Germany and Japan combined, more money than most nations will see in a century. They call it BlackRock. But BlackRock is just the tip of the spear, the public face of something far darker. The true enemy is a new economic model, carefully designed and methodically executed to ensure that you will own nothing, and they will own everything.
To understand the crime, we have to go back to the scene of the crash. 2011. The housing market was in ruins. Foreclosure signs lined suburban streets like tombstones. Banks were drowning in repossessed homes, bleeding billions, desperate to offload toxic assets before the whole system collapsed. But where millions of American families saw financial ruin and generational trauma, Wall Street saw the opportunity of the century. In a now infamous report titled A Rentership Society, and yes, that's the actual title, analysts at Morgan Stanley declared that the American dream of home ownership was dying. Not fading, not evolving, dying. They argued, clinically, that the United States should move away from an ownership society toward a permanent class of renters, a nation of tenants, a population that would pay indefinitely for shelter they would never control. This document wasn't a warning. It wasn't economic forecasting. It was a business plan. This was the starting gun. Massive private equity firms like Blackstone founded subsidiaries with friendly suburban names: Invitation Homes, American Homes for Rent, Progress Residential. They industrialized the purchase of single-family houses. They didn't want apartment complexes. They didn't want office towers. They wanted something far more insidious. They wanted the 3-bedroom ranch in the cul-de-sac. They wanted the house with the good school district. They wanted the backyard where your kids were supposed to learn to ride a bike. They treated your home, your dream, like a stock ticker, an asset to be securitized and leveraged.
But why? Why does Wall Street want to be your landlord? Because a mortgage gets paid off. 30 years and it's yours. You own it. You build equity. Rent? Rent is forever. Once they own the neighborhood, the real extraction begins. They call it fee stacking. And it's not enough to just pay rent anymore. In the corporate rental model, you aren't a tenant. You are a resource to be mined. Internal documents from Invitation Homes, leaked during litigation, revealed a CEO instructing his executive team to, and I'm quoting directly here, "juice this hog." That hog is you, the tenant, the family, the human being trying to keep a roof over their head. Let me show you how they juice it. It starts with the smart home fee. You pay $40 a month for a keypad lock you didn't ask for. Then comes the air filter fee, $10 a month for filters you have to install yourself. Then the valet trash fee, the utility management fee, the lease administration fee. In a lawsuit filed by the FTC, it was revealed that these junk fees could add over $1,700 a year to your rent, hidden costs that don't appear on Zillow. You aren't renting a home. You are paying a subscription service for the privilege of having a roof over your head. And if you're late, even by a day, the algorithm doesn't care if you lost your job. It doesn't care if your child got sick. The eviction notice is automated. The process is streamlined, cold, and brutally efficient. No mercy, no negotiation, just extraction.
As the supply of old houses dries up, they've evolved. They've started building their own. Welcome to the era of build to rent. Look at Moss Point in Canton, Georgia. From the air, it looks like a normal neighborhood. Neat lawns, driveways, American flags. But look closer. Every single house is a rental. Every resident is a tenant. There is no HOA president to complain to, no community meeting, just a call center in another country, where your maintenance request gets logged into a ticket system and forgotten. These are transient communities. Nobody puts down roots because nobody knows if they'll be able to afford the renewal rate next year. The social fabric of the neighborhood is dissolved into quarterly earnings reports for distant shareholders who will never visit. They market it as maintenance-free living, but the reality, it's a trap. You pay $30,000 a year in rent. After 10 years, you've paid $300,000, and you walk away with zero equity. Nothing. Not a dollar. Meanwhile, the asset appreciates on their balance sheet. You've paid off their investment. You aren't the customer. You are the product. Where does this end? MetLife Investment Management predicts that by 2030, institutional investors could control 40% of all single-family rental homes in the United States. 40%. Imagine a world where 40% of the housing market is controlled by a handful of CEOs meeting in glass towers in Manhattan, where they set the price of shelter like OPEC sets the price of oil. The World Economic Forum once famously published an article predicting, "You will own nothing and you will be happy." The first part is coming true faster than anyone thought possible. The second part? That's up for debate. The invisible enemy is no longer hiding. They are buying the house next door. The question is no longer, can I buy a house? The question is, will anyone be allowed to? Wake up. The lease is ending, and the rent is due.